Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. I get this project in, and I need a follow rest. Now, I've got a follow rest that came with this lathe, and I'm going to show it to you right now. And all this time, I'm thinking, well, if I ever need a follow rest, at least I got something here that's going to work out pretty good. And so I've had this lathe, 8 or 9 years now. I've never once needed this follow rest until the other day. And I go to put it on the lathe, and it's the wrong one. And I'm like going, well, what? So I guess the next project is a follow rest. So we have done the first part of that follow rest, which is a plate to go across on the carriage, and that's a good start. So anyhow, this is Nick Collier. It's freezing ass cold in here. I'm going down to the house, get warmed up a little bit, and stick with me. We're gonna have some fun anyhow. All right, well, we've almost got this squared up. Just taking it looks like a couple more passes, and we'll have it. Okay, where any good steady rest should be, it should be right in this area right here. And we luckily have 2 bolt holes right there and there that are going to give us what we want. We're going to bring this up to here. I think we can come all the way out to this edge here. And we'll just mark 1 hole and drill that, and then measure the other hole. All right, well, we marked our first hole and we're centered on it and we're ready to rip. So let's go ahead and cut a center first. And then get a drill bit in here, and we need to measure the size of the bolt. 520 thousandths. So somewhere in there, in that general area, is 17/32. And 17/32 be somewhere in this general area. Let's get well, we're gonna have to hunt this drill bit down. And since for the life of me I can't find my 17/32, we're gonna have to go with a 9/16, which isn't too bad. We're going to take this over to the drill press and countersink both sides of that, and we'll be right back. plate is going to sit right over the top of that bolt, or that stud head. We can kind of, and we got plenty of room, and it can really go in loose. It's not that critical. So I'm thinking we can just kind of bring this out and make our mark someplace like right about there. That looks pretty good. Alright, well this time we put it into power feed, so it'll be a little easier on me. Well, and you're asking yourself, well, why didn't I cut this a little bit longer and give myself a little bit more room? Well, it turns out that this piece of metal is the only piece that I had in this size. So we use what we got, right? Let me go and countersink those. All right, well, let's drop it in there and see what we got. And so we're just a little bit sloppy, which is exactly what we want. And that's going to work out just about right. So now we need to come in, and I think what I'm going to do is take the, well, wait a second. It's actually not bad having that bell center in there, because I'm guessing if I get anywhere beyond, what is that, 3 inches? I'm guessing 3 inches. In a shaft size, a 3-inch shaft, I'm not going to need a follow rest because it's going to be rigid enough. So, unless of course it's hollow. Yeah, hollow could be a problem. Well, what we're going to do is get a piece of cardboard and we're going to cut a shape out that we think is going to work here. Oh, you're not seeing it, are you? There we go. So we're going to cut a shape out around the bell center and see what we got. We'll be back. All right, we got ourselves a little piece of cardboard here. We're going to slide it right on up to where we need it to be. And we can mark the edge of this without too much problem. And then that's going to be about right there. And then we can mark the center, which is going to be about right there. And then we want to be someplace like, oh, I don't know, we want that much of a gap, and I think that's going to give us what we want. Yep. So X marks the center. That's our height, and let's get a compass and we'll figure this one out. All right, take a felt tip pin, slide it in till it jams up a little bit. We're going to come into our center and bring our pin back to our line. There's our inside circle, and I'm thinking our outside circle wants to be a good inch, if not more. Let's do 1.25 inches or so. That's good. Gonna go from here on up. That's a straight shot, and this could be kind of cut at an angle, Well, wait, we want to get all the way down. Okay, and this can go all the way to here, and that would give us our circle. And then we want to be pretty much parallel or perpendicular. That would be our top. So something in that general range. And I'm thinking we just go 1.25 all the way. Something like that. I like it. Now, since I'm not going to have this cut out with a plasma on a plasma table, what I want to do is see if I can make this angular. And one of our steady rest arms is going to come in from this direction. And one of our steady rest arms is going to come in just slightly over the top of the center. So we have to stay outside of this line. So I'm looking at, let's get a regular. We're going to come out to about here. We can go let's do that. So there's our, and then what we want to do is to be right about there. Right? Right? And then bring this up. And what's our angle here? We can reproduce that angle. Let's see what we got angle-wise. Somewhere in the 25 degrees. So that would be 25 degrees from this edge. So we want to go, no, that's not right. Let's just say 25 degrees, and that would make it a much more even angle. Okay. 25 degrees. That's from here. So if we want to go 25 degrees backwards from here, so that would be 25 plus 90 would be 115. Here's 115. And that's going to go right to there. Something like that. And I think we want to extend a little further. And that allows for our post to come through. We'll give it a fair amount of room. I like it. So this way we can cut all 1.25 inches. It's 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. Looks like about 1.5 inches. 1.5 inch segments, and then cut them at their intersecting angles. And it'll be here. Right? Right. I'm thinking maybe it would be better to go at a 90 at the end here. I like the looks of that better. In fact, maybe we'll just round that off a little bit. Now, how's that look? We can put a $5.5 inch piece of material in there. Just about what this the other follow rest would handle. Most of the time follow rest you're doing a 1-inch bar because it has a bit of flex. You know, a big piece like this, even a big piece of pipe. You know, I only have 57 inches in my lathe. If I had 8 feet or, you know, even 80 inches, I would be making this a little bit bigger because by the time we stretched out that far. But 57 inches is not as far as you would think. So what have we got here? We've got a piece that is 9 inches, 9 inches long, and a piece that is 8.5 inches long, and a piece that is 6 inches. All right. And that's going to give us a steady rest. Now, we might be a little wobbly this way, so we'll probably come in and do a little bit of gusset work on each of these, and maybe even some strengtheners, depending. I mean, it's pretty thick material. What is it? Looks like 3/4. So, our width, what did I say, 1.5 inches? 1.5 inches is good. Just slightly under. So I have got a piece of material. I'm going to show it to you. All right, well, this is the same material that I cut that first piece from. So I think we can just do a whole bunch of 1.5 inch segments and be totally happy. And what was our measurement? inches. Yeah, that's not 9 inches. Almost 9 inches. All right, well, we're gonna do 1.5 pieces. Almost. A little bit long. That's close to 1.5 inches. Okay, well, we've got two 2-inch pieces cut, but they're not accurate because when you get out on the edge there, you can't get super accurate. So we're going to drop them in the mill and trim them up and get them more accurate. Not that it needs to be, but you know, hey, why not? Take it over to the mill. Okay, so let's take this. We're gonna bring this down just a tad, maybe 10-15 thousandths, and we're gonna make a run across there. Okay. Okay, so we've got 2 of them cut at 2 inches, or approximately 2 inches, and so now we got to cut all of the angles for them, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so looking at our piece, we decided that instead of the smaller radius, we're going to expand it out, about 3/8 of an inch, which gives us just a little bit more room, and I think it brings us up to a 6-inch radius. Yep, a little bit beyond 6. 3 and 3. Right, so we can put up to a 6-inch piece of material in here and be happy with that. So what we have to do now, you can see the whole thing, is we're all set up. So what we need to do is bring our line across. And it doesn't look like we're at a 90 degree here, so let's see what that looks like. I don't know, pretty close. All right, we'll stay with that. We're going to cut it off at that point there, and then come back and cut this one off. And probably we should just go ahead and mark it while we're here. Now we're going to bring it just a little bit longer. There we go. Yeah, that's good. We'll cut this one off, and I think what we're going to do is go ahead and radius that one, and we'll see what we can do. We'll be back. Okay, let's set it up with the saw blade. We're going to slide in there. I think we're right on the money there. Come in just a little bit. And cut away. Okay, we're going to get a little fancy here, and we're going to just create a radius around that top edge there. So hang in there, let's crank her up. Go ahead, Frank, you can do it. Alright, well my plan is this isn't really thick enough. I want to put a pretty good sized bolt through the center of this. So my plan is to add a couple of shims on the outside of it, like that. And that way I can come through with maybe a 5/8 or 3/4 bolt and have plenty of beef on the outside of everything. I know it doesn't look as good as it could, but it is what it is. Set up, ready to go. We're going to run a bead down that part there. Well, that gives us the strength we need. Now We're going to let this cool, and we'll come back in and radius that top edge again. I know I should have done it first, but hey, you know, afterthoughts. Okay, so we'll be back. Well, it's a new day, and last night I had a job come in, so we put all the play stuff away and jumped to work here, and it's, you know, it's a good thing. Hey, pay some bills. But at the same time, I'm all set up on my rotary mill or rotary table, so I think what I want to do is come in and go ahead and finish this part off first before I disassemble the rotary table and go on about this other project. So hang in there with me. We're gonna do a little cutting. Well, we gotta change the bit first, of course. We'll do that. And we can kind of get this out. There we go. New collet, or not new, but a good used one. And a bit. Crank it down tight. And we're ready to rock and roll. Oh, damn. I'm not going to be able to do the bottom. I just realized that. Shit. Okay, well, this whole thing starts over again. Let's turn you off.